find that. Now, number 5, this is a biggie. The authority to buy. If they're not part of the decision, you're not presenting to the right person. How many times have we been in front of somebody and everything looks good, and you go in and you're like, man, how can they not sign this deal? And then they kind of give you this whole, well, let me go run it by my boss and see what he says. We got 3 other people I'm going to talk to him about. Think about all the work, all the time, all the training, all the money you've spent in order to present your offering effectively. And you're going to give it to somebody who's doesn't know anything about you do, and they're just going to, it's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. They're going to take everything that you came up with, and they're going to just let the boss man know that, oh yeah, here's this other company, I really like them, man. And you know, they're kind of expensive. They're about $2,000 a month. Holy cow, are you kidding me? $2,000 a month? Well, who was the next guy? Well, he was $800. Oh, that's a big difference. Well, shoot, man, let's save some money. Okay, boss, you got it. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're not in front of the right people, you do not need to present. It's silly and it's a waste of time. Now, here's what I tell my sales team. Before they move forward with a presentation, and this holds true on my Char side, selling our managed services products, as well as my MSP side, selling to end clients like you guys sell to. When it comes time to presentation day, if they do not answer these 5 prerequisites, they are not allowed to proceed, because there's a couple of things that happened. First, they failed to recognize why the client needs us, or they're quoting the wrong product. If we don't have answers to when they say, wow, that costs a heck of a lot more money than I'm spending now, if they don't have those types of answers ready to go and can answer them based on facts of what they found out, there's no reason to move forward. If they're not going to present in front of somebody with the authority to buy, or a group of people, they do not move forward. And I don't even want them practicing, because I know they're not going to get it. If there's no sense of urgency, it's going to go on and on and on and on and on and on. Now, we talked about that cost to quote a deal. If a salesperson is trained to look for these 5 prerequisites, and they do it anyways, regardless of meeting all 5, I look at that and I'm like, this guy's costing me money and he doesn't care. It's no different than writing a check out of my bank account for $1,200 to $1,500 and walking away, because he's going to engage all my resources, not to mention the stuff that's not getting done because he takes them, and we're going to be in we're actually going to be in a worse position than we were before he took that call. So I'm going to leave this here, and we'll kind of go back to it throughout this webinar. But just know these five prerequisites. If you have not printed your screen yet or copied these down, you're making a mistake. Okay, let's move on. So let's talk about some typical sales challenges along the way. Now this is, I could go on forever on sales challenges, okay? In fact, I even have a video, what's it called? 100 Reasons Why Salespeople Suck. But here's, you guys ought to look it up, it's pretty funny. But these typical sales challenges is what stops the momentum from moving down the sales funnel, from moving an opportunity from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to level 4 to level 5 to asking for a check. First thing is, we lose curiosity. Once we give up everything, once we show our cards, there's no curiosity and there's no reason to move forward. Typical way of losing curiosity is going into solution mode. Okay, maybe even telling them, well, about how much do you think it's going to cost me? Answering those types of questions, okay, is what stops the self moving forward. And think about this, guys. Think about the opportunities, how quick everybody was to respond to your phone calls, to your texts, to your emails, okay? until they got what they wanted from you, whether it be information, whether it be a flyer, whether it be a website, whether it be a price, whether it be how you do things, whatever it is. And for some weird reason, after they get what they want, they never return their calls. Lack of curiosity, okay, in the sales processes, in the sales process, stops the client from engaging. Now, it's very easy to say, no, I'm not going to give you a price. Obviously, there's an art there, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well, because you can't come off just being a jerk and say, no, 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 right? Because there's too many people that they can look for. All they got to do is go to number 2 on the Google list and go down to the next one and go down to the next one and go down to the next one. The challenge, another challenge we have, tail wagging the dog. This is the client controlling the situation. I'm going to tell you guys something right now in our scenario here. I'm sure you've all been to that little hardware store and you've seen that sign above the counter that says, rule number 1, the client is always right. Rule number 2, if the client is wrong, and then there's this little arrow drawing right back up to number 1. See rule number 1. I'm telling you right now, the client is never right. Now, they are right about how they like to be treated. They are right about how they like to be serviced. I get that. But when it comes to them telling you the solution or telling you what's going on with hardware specs or what have you, that's no different than you telling your doctor how to operate on your heart problem. So this is a big challenge, the tail wagging the dog. How do we get in front of that? Next, permission to interact. Guys, this industry has burned clients day in, day out. Do you really think you're the first IT guy to ever show up to this company? Do you think they've had the same IT guy since they opened? Maybe some, most not. But people don't want to give you permission. They don't want you. It's not like the old days. You walk in with a pocket protector and like, oh my God, you're a tech. Come on in. Here's my password. See what you can do. Nowadays, you walk into a client's office, you log onto their network, you may get a call that says, hey, you were in our network and now I got a flat tire on my truck. What did you do to my network? People, and with all the security scares and all the hostage situation, all this stuff going on, people have been burned. They do not want to let just anybody come in and start typing away and loading software on their network or talk to their people. And when I say permission to talk to their people, it may even be they don't even want to share with you because they don't even like you. You can go in and say, hey, how are things working? Like, everything's great. Really? You sure? Yeah, everything's fine. They don't want to open up. You're not credible. What are you doing to build credibility? That's a challenge. And we talked a little bit about this, getting in front of the decision makers. What are we doing to prevent the situation so we're not sitting in front of us after we spent $1,200 to $1,500 quoting it to find out we're just presenting in front of the janitor, the receptionist, the office manager. Sometimes people think they have permission to make decisions, and you need to understand this challenge offhand. They may have decisions to go down and buy a $200 hard drive. They may have decision power to authorize a company to spend $120 an hour. But I can promise you, most do not have the decision to make a $100,000 commitment or a $72,000 commitment. And they don't know that going into this. So how do we get in front of that and still keep the momentum and still keep everybody turned on? And another big challenge, guys, is long sales cycles. I got to tell you, I see this so many times. People come in, they call in you or an MSP, and they have this active need, active problem, and you being the good guy, you go in and remember they've kind of set your expectations by waving a carrot in front of you. yeah, we're down, man. We got to get rid of our IT guy, this and that. Come on in, get this fixed, and then let's talk about your services, and let's see how you guys can help us move forward so we're never in this position again, blah, 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 blah. So you know what you do? You throw down. You get down there, and you solve their problem. You get them up and running, and then all of a sudden, when it comes time to talk about services and how you can take care of them, they're non-existent, and they stop returning your calls because the urgency is gone, the curiosity is gone, and they really don't need you right now. Or what happens is you do go ahead and present, and you give them your $2,000 a month number, and then they say, I'll think about it. Looks good. You know, we're not dying right now. You've already put a Band-Aid on the blood. Nothing's getting dirty. I'm still alive. This is great. We'll let you know. And then you don't hear from them again until something else breaks. And then you got to go in because it's been so long. You have to go back in, do another discovery, do another assessment, and go through the whole damn process again. And you know what we do is we fix the same problem again to eliminate the urgency. Okay. Those are some serious challenges. So let's look at this. I want to show you our process. Now this process, there's nothing special about this process, okay? But every one of those colors is a close, and that's what we're going to talk about. So there's always going to be some sort of first interaction, guys. That first interaction is going to come from your marketing message, your market message. From Piggly Wiggly or Vons. You're going to get that first interaction. Now that's going to come either through a phone call, maybe they're looking at Google. Maybe you have a telemarketer that's dialing for dollars and getting you appointments. Maybe it's a flyer, maybe it's an email, maybe it's a sales track, maybe it's a billboard, maybe it's a TV, whatever it might be, or a referral. That's even a marketing message. Somebody giving you a referral for them, hey, so-and-so told me to call you. Hey, guess what? That's marketing. Now, there's a couple challenges here with that marketing message. First off, we need to understand, marketing now stops, okay? Marketing is not involved anymore. They did their job. Marketing's job is to build enough curiosity in their campaigns that get people to stop what the hell they're doing, pick up the phone call, pick up their computer, send an email, and interact with you to seek to understand more. When they did that, they win. Marketing win, knock one on the board for marketing, give them a bonus. It's the salespeople that screw the shit up all the way down the line, and then blame the marketing message, or blame the person who set up the appointment, the telemarketer that you paid $200 for the lead. You're not paying them to close the deal. You're paying them for an opportunity to get in front of somebody to talk about a deal, to talk about interest. But the challenge is we lose it from that point on. So that first interaction, that first close, when they call, the first thing we need to do, and we need to have the mentality that we're getting paid on that alone, is who is it? Who is calling me? Where do they work? What's the information I can get from them? In case this doesn't go any farther down the funnel, I at least have a contact that I can then put in my database. Databases are expensive, guys. You ever bought one? You ever bought a list? But now we have somebody that is interested in us at some point in time. They have some curiosity. That's somewhat of a warm lead. So if we don't get anything else from them, let's find out who it is and who they work for. What's our strategy to do that? The next thing, you're on the phone with them. The next close you have to worry about is selling the first appointment. Pretend your product is the first appointment, and pretend you're getting commission by getting that first appointment. Okay? Your goal is to get a first appointment, nothing else. That's your product. That's your call objective. You just closed, you found out who it is. Your next goal is to take it at another level, and how are they going to allow you to come into their house, their office, their facility? What strategy are we using to close that first appointment. Now, keep in mind, depending on how the lead came in, that first appointment may be to meet with the owner to sell the owner, or it may be 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 the ow Our Continue doing it the same way is not the right choice. Something has to change. So you can self-study. You can buy books. You can go to peer groups. You can talk to other companies. You can get involved